How many times a day do you let your mind stop? How many times a day do you allow the noise to settle, to just rest, to just settle? How many times a day do you take a moment to just let the shoulders drop? Notice, have you been clenching? Have you been bracing? What thoughts are on repeat in your mind? Can you bring them to a slowness? Are these thoughts in your mind because you have a decision that needs to be made? Or are they emotional triggers that just keep replaying until you get the closure, forgiveness, or the feeling seen that you desire? Maybe the rest is that there's just so many piles of responsibility in your brain. And so it's not that it's a monkey mind of unnecessary items. They're all very necessary and important items, but it's still the monkey brain of how to organize, how to gain clarity. How do you organize priority when everything is a priority? And no, this is not a lesson on organization. It's a lesson on, and it's not even a lesson. Never here to teach, not here to coach, not here to play therapist, just here to be here. And sometimes with all those piles of responsibilities, set a timer on your phone and give yourself whatever time you have. If it's 60 seconds, do 60 seconds. Timer on your phone and just be. You don't even have to breathe a certain breathing pattern. You don't have to try and push thoughts out of your mind, but just, I mean, that is kind of part of the practice. That's ideal. But just set a timer on your phone. For, actually, you know, if you could go 5 minutes, just do 60 seconds. 60 seconds of just a pause. No thinking about what's going to come after that 60 seconds. Notice if you feel your body shaking a lot, or vibrating in certain areas, or feeling like it wants to move, can't sit still. That was about 20 seconds of stillness and pauses. How do you feel? If any of this is resonating at all, this is what the channel is about. It's Awaken with Deb, and I'm Deborah Kaye. And here we awaken to the truth and awareness of what we are from a spiritual perspective, from a physical perspective, from a multidimensional perspective, from a just a tiny dot in the universe and nothing actually matters perspective. It all leads to the same thing. So it really doesn't matter what you believe in, because in the end, we all end up at the same spot, because that's the law of time and travel, which means nothing actually exists. If you have a dot here and you have these three things that go out, actually, that's kind of backwards. I wish I could, anyways, I'm not even going to try and go there, but it's, if all things of time are eventually, they all eventually go to one spot. It all eventually goes to one spot. And it all comes from one spot. It's all infinite. But yet it's all a simulation. But we're humans having a spiritual experience. But we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Or we could just be science experiments from some alien race somewhere. And we happen to think that we're self-important. Maybe we're an AI experiment. Maybe that's why we don't seem to have such clarity around who we are, what we are, how to exist, and why there's so many variables within our personalities and attributes. When you look at other species, I'm thinking of like cats and dogs and wild animals, and they all have certain attributes. Like a parrot acts very differently from a lion. And a snake will act very differently from a spider. But all spiders seem quite similar. Humans have such a vast difference, very vast difference. And I think many of us want to try and erase those differences. And instead of erasing, it needs to be a matter of acceptance. I said need, I don't like the word need. A, acceptance. B, realizing whatever's in your scope of control, focus on what's in your scope of control. I feel like these last few minutes have really not had any point to them. So if you're getting something from it, let me know in the comments. Rests. There was a time where I was taking some rests, and I was very purposely not doing some hobbies. And so I was like, yes, I'm resting. And it was probably a month or two of taking hobbies off when I realized, even though I wasn't physically doing the hobbies, I wasn't mentally resting. I wasn't emotionally resting. I thought I was, but I actually wasn't. I wasn't taking the time to slow down and breathe. And it was nature that I was missing. I think I didn't have a car, sharing a car or something at the time. So the nature visits were lacking. I think there was a moment when I went back out in nature, I was like, even though I had been meditating, the meditating was still in a way of using my brain, and I wasn't getting into the deep states, mostly because I have cats that seem to interrupt me, and I haven't been able to have a deep state of meditation since I've had the cats in, as long as I'm at the house. So there's obstacles in life and there's solutions in life. Find what works for you. Notice if you're actually slowing down when you're attempting to rest. Even though you're not at the office solving problems, are you taking those problems home with you in your brain trying to solve problems? And if you're a business owner or a leader or an entrepreneur, like you're gonna have those times. Absolutely, you're gonna have those times where you're just always thinking about how to do things better, more efficient, how to provide better service, how to obviously increase your return. These are real and important things that are always on your mind. And we want to think that we have to think about them obsessively until we come up with a solution. But sometimes the solution is in the rest. Sometimes the solution is underneath all the noise. Sometimes the solution is realizing we've been bracing and release the bracing to allow what needs to come through, right? Like a water hose, if you're kinking it, you're bracing a water hose, not much is going to come through, if anything at all. It's releasing that kink that's going to allow the ideas and the solutions to come through. The rest. Have you ever, I remember as a teenager when I played video games for a very small, I borrowed someone's thing for one video game, conquered the game, but there were moments where I would like keep trying to pass a certain thing and I couldn't, and then I would stop and come back to it, and then I would be able to pass it my first try, whereas the other time it was like, I tried 10 times, couldn't get past it. It's that moment of rest. Or the movie Men in Black, when they have a problem, they go and get pie. It's because allowing the nervous system a moment to rest allows the brain to switch into creative mode. And we are born to create. Can you think of a moment when you're eating pie? Do you not feel totally safe and happy and comforted and welcome and just no worries? It's recreating that environment within the body and the mind that will allow you to progress in whatever it is that you're trying to progress in, whatever it is that you need a solution for, whatever it is you feel you need a clarity on, or even sometimes a more rooted foundation, a stronger anchor. Taking moments of rest will get you there. My name's Deborah Kaye. If you would like to feel what these moments of rest are like, stay tuned. There will be more videos. In the meantime, I'm looking for my remote. Thank you for watching. This is Awaken with Deb. My name's Deborah Kaye. Have a blessed day. Cheers.